You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio with Joe Cristiano from the studios of Talk Radio 1170 KFAQ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also, you can hear Joe by visiting our website at libertytalkradio.com. With so many voices, opinions, and agendas, Joe encourages America to shed what has become conventional thinking regarding our political structure and join our founders by becoming revolutionaries in thought, dissidents in action. Join Joe in the march toward freedom from tyranny. Visit our website to learn more and join the conversation. Now, here's Joe Cristiano.
Good morning, everyone. This morning, folks, I will exhort a proclamation in the form of a confession. Now, I warn you, please, if you're standing, sit down. If you're driving a car, make certain you have your seatbelt on and your seat is in the upright position. This will shock you. Here it goes. Folks, I am not from the planet Earth. I'll repeat that. I am not an earthling. I know you find that difficult to believe. Please try to contain yourself. You ask, how do I know that I'm not from this planet Earth? Well, you see, where I thought I came from was a planet in which people thought logically. They didn't say silly things, meaningless things. Planet Earth, we're filled with them. So I said, well, I don't know, I can't belong here. And I really decided that I come really from the planet Zorg, Z-O-R-G. The planet Zorg is, a light year away or so from here, and every once in a while it gets pretty close to Earth. Now, let me tell you the difference between planet Zorg and planet Earth. Actually, they're quite identical. The same atmosphere, same types of buildings. They even have an Empire State Building. But when people speak on the planet Zorg, they think critically and logically. I know this is a new concept to most people, but they actually don't say things that are just quacky. Oh, they tell jokes. Their jokes are really good, but they don't say quacky things. For example, I heard a advertisement on television the other day, and it said, there's nothing worse than standing in line at the post office. Stood there. I froze. Nothing worse? How about the earth being struck by a meteor? How about pestilence? How about starvation? How about war? How about hunger? How about disease? Oh, no. They pale in comparison to standing on line at the post office. Now, I ran outside assuming that people of logical minds would be rioting in the streets, yelling, I can't take this anymore. Standing in line at the post office isn't all that bad. No one, absolutely silent. So I've concluded, that I come from the planet Zorg. Now, planet is a nice place. People think logically. Now, this is what happens when someone starts speaking wacky. Like they say, you think we should have a war on terror, things like that. Or, let's own the American dream by getting into debt. Things like that. What we do is we take these people, we round them up and put them in containment camps, and then we put them on a rocket ship, blast them all off to the planet Earth. You see, Zorgians or Zorgites consider Earth the insane asylum of the planet Zorg. And when I say that, that makes sense. And that should make sense to you. If you think logically, you're not of this planet. Doesn't that make you feel better? You say, at least I know my origins. Because where I come from, we speak logically. We think critically. We don't speak in terms that don't read anything. And we know that at least we're living on an insane asylum flying around the sun. Unfortunately, there are no spaceships to bring us back to Zorg. So the only thing that we can do is that we can spread the word of logical thinking and critical thinking to everybody else. Are you with me so far? I hope you haven't fainted so far. Now, with that, I'd like to tell you that this program is going to do a 180. I am no longer pontificating because I assume that I am speaking to people from planet Earth, mostly, a few from the planet Zorg. I don't know who you are or how many are out there. So you see, since I'm speaking to the illogical mind, what I will do is I will espouse what the planet Zorg would espouse, and then you can call in and educate me. Instead of being a talk show program where I pontificate, so to speak, and educate you, you will be tuning in so you can educate me so I can fit in society and have a nice, calm disposition. You would do something for Zorkind or mankind. Are you with me? So we're going to do 180. I'll talk. You call in, tell me where I'm wrong, set me straight so I can live on this planet because there ain't no rocket ship going back to Zorg. Okay? Does that make sense? I hear a lot of yeses. Okay. Now, today I am in official Zorgian attire. I'll stand up. That was for the studio camera. And it says, Planet Zorg rules. Now, what's interesting about that planet is it's kind of a unique place in that there are no wars. It doesn't make any sense to have war. Why kill everybody? Everyone's thinking logically. We have no wars. There's no war on terror, war on drugs, war on poverty, war on your underwear. There is none. In fact, we only have one enemy, and that's an enemy, another planet, that every so many years comes pretty close to our planet, and Zorg, that is, and they try to attack us. But we're always ready for them. You see, we have a good Department of Defense. Doesn't take much, just a few missiles, a few airplanes, a few things like that, right? But everybody on the planet is heavily armed. And they know that if they come here and decide to take over, they'll never walk the streets. But they try every time. And every time they do, they get rebuffed. Boom, bing, we bounce them right back again. We spend practically no money whatsoever on defense, except for a few missiles to take care of those guys. Now, just think of the logic behind that. Everybody on the planet Zorg is, in fact, the army. Everybody. Men, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers, everybody. And just think if the Zorki, let me tell you the name of this planet. It's called Illogica. Illogica is our enemy. And it flies around there somewhere. We don't know where it is. It's on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. But you can understand that Illogica, every time it gets close, they send their warships over to attack us. We don't know why. We don't bother them. We trade with everybody. We trade with the people on Mars, people on Saturn. We trade with everybody. But when we say we don't trade. I mean, the government doesn't trade. Government doesn't get involved. In fact, we just have a head. We buy him some really nice, fancy clothing. He feels good about it, has no power whatsoever. And people themselves deal with other people on other planets and trade whatever they want. There are no trade restrictions, no barriers, and we never have a depression. Now, why do you think Illogica would ever want to attack the good planet Zorg? We've never bothered, but we'd love to trade with them. Folks, I'm here to tell you it's for the Zorkite. Zorkite is a very, very, very precious mineral. It can be used for practically anything. And in Illogica, they try to just take it away from us. We would sell it to them. We would give it to them in the case of need. But they don't want that. They want to own it. They want to put military bases on our planet and subjugate all of the inhabitants. We don't let that happen. So you see, Zorg is really a nice place to be. I would tell you how to get there. Don't know how to get there. No spaceships going there. It's one way. If you're on Zorg, you speak illogically, get on a spaceship, and you wind up in the insane asylum, which we call planet Earth. Right? Now, when I say that, I feel better. I feel like, well, maybe I'm not too crazy. Maybe I'm not alone. Maybe there are other Zorgites here on planet Earth. But we won't admit it, because if we admit that we're from planet Zorg, what happens? Right? Oh, that guy's crazy. He bumbles about another planet. Don't talk to him. He's nutty. Ha ha ha. Oh, and then I have no friends. See my point? Let's talk about some of the things that we talk about. We talk about the war on terror. Now, I could never understand that. Every time I hear war on terror, I get this, when the circuits short circuit, your electrical circuit, they short circuit. That's what happens to my brain. War on terror. Folks, terror is a noun. It's an action. It's a noun. We have declared war on a noun. That couldn't happen on the planet Zorg. Impossible. It's illogical. But we can do that here on Earth. You know why? Because we're insane. That's why. And when we hear that, no one says, hey, wait a minute, you all can't have a war on a noun. What you gonna do? Go through all the nouns? Yep, that's what we're doing. Folks, that's what we're doing. See, we're going through all the nouns, and we've just started. We have the war on terror. We have the war on drugs. We have the war on poverty. All these nouns, we have war. See, we can have perpetual war, literally, can go on for thousands of years. All you have to do is open the dictionary, find a noun, and declare war on it. This can go on for thousands of years. When we get, what happens when we exhaust all the nouns? Then we can have a war on verbs. Then the action really starts. And after that, we can have a war on, adverbs. Now, where it gets really sticky is the war on propositions. Oh, boy. Then you're really getting advanced. And then the absolute ultimate is a war on idiomatic expressions. Boy, I can't wait. I won't live 10,000 years, but this will allow us to be perpetually at war and give us cause for doing so. And what's really neat about this nation is that we can declare war on an idiomatic expression, and not one person says, what is that? It makes no sense. Not one person. We just watch the boob tube, and we go, we're at war with an idiomatic expression. Boy, are we winning so far? Hey, Margaret, are we winning that war with idiomatic expression? I just don't know. I want to know where we stand on that thing. And that's what we do, you see? Don't tell me we're not the insane asylum for Zorg. We certainly are. You see, I think the way we got this way is that we got a virus. And the virus went to our brain, screwed us up. We can't think. It's impossible. You can't think. We say things that make no sense. How did we get this virus? Here is my suspicion. This is my suspicion, right? I think what happened is that we got the virus, or we caught the virus, from Illogica. Illogica must have passed by the planet Earth close enough so those viruses snuck out, got in our atmosphere, and screwed up our brains. Because cavemen, and back thousands of years ago, they didn't think this way. They were hungry, they went out, they hunted, they cooked, whatever, they slept, they got up, they took care of their family. Logical. Everything was logical. Thousands of years ago, when people, we say, knew nothing, were logical. Now that we're so advanced, guess what? We're maniacs. Every one of us are maniacs. Anybody who talks about, well, United States here is going over there, and we're going to protect the world. We're the world's police. How about that one? The United States is the world's policeman. Someone's got to be the policeman of the world, or things won't work. Where do you get that from? Why do we have to be the policeman? Well, no policeman, and the world gets this some sort of riots all over the place, and people just do what they want to do, and you can't just have that. We got to be the policeman. You ever think of that logic? I hear that all the time. I was at a business meeting, and a guy brought that up. literally brought that up at the business meeting. I mean, good thing I'm from the planet Zorg, because in Zorg, we have patience. We don't get excited. And I sat there, and my brain was frying. I started losing sight in my left eye. I thought I was going to faint. But I kept my mouth shut. You'd be proud of me. We got to be the world's policeman. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Well, let's say there was a robbery in Rwanda there, and one in Sri Lanka on the corner of 4th and Barbusa Street. Do we have a cop there? It makes no sense. No, but you know what the problem is? It's not that we say it. It's not that we say we have to be the world's policeman, but that we believe it. And that's why we're not on the planet Zorg. We're on the planet Earth. You know your origins now. And you heard it here first on Liberty Talk Radio.
You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio, the voice of freedom in an America filled with a self-serving federal government operating oversized budgets that threaten our liberties. Joe would like to hear your comments. You can email Joe at comments@libertytalkradio.com. We're back with Liberty Talk Radio. If you want to join in on the conversation, call us or find us on Facebook or Twitter. Or visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
Folks, I want to mention our telephone number. It's 855-866-1170. 855-866-1170. Let me hear from you. Now, remember, this program is for you to teach me. I ain't teaching you anything. I'm just nuts. I'm crazy. You've got to put me square so I can live on this planet, okay? 855-866-1170. Of course, you can send your comments to me anytime to comments@libertytalkradio.com. I will get back to everyone and maybe make you part of the show. All right, now, let me give you an example. This war on terror. I don't understand that. We have a war on terror, whatever that's supposed to mean. People, well, we got to get rid of those terrorists. I said, well, you know, what kind of army do they have? What kind of uniforms? Well, they don't have any uniforms or anything like that. They just wear whatever they have at their country. That's what they have, you know. How many tanks do they have? What kind of battalions do they have? Well, they don't have any tanks. They don't have any battalions or anything like that. Well, what about their Air Force? You know, what kind of jets do they have, you know? Or they don't have any jets. What about bombs? What kind of bombs? Do they have any rockets? You know, no, they don't have any rockets. None of that stuff there. You just think, the most powerful nation in the world ever conceived. In fact, 10 years ago, we could not have conceived how powerful we are today. We're broke, but we're powerful. And yet, we are fighting a concept, terror. Just think of that. And no one says, Mr. President, excuse me, I don't think I understand that. Let me give you an example. All right, let me give you an example. Right now, we're in Afghanistan, we were in Iraq, now we're in Yemen, we're in Syria, you know, you name it, we're there, drones bombing, killing innocent people. You know, they don't target, they go, oh, there's Abdul, and he's the bad guy, and he's the guy who planted the bomb at the World Trade Center, whatever it is. You know, we got to, or flew the airplane, bingo, we got to target him, take him, and bring him to trial. No, we just throw a bomb in that general area. You think we're not killing people? Think about that. I know, but you don't seem to understand that, Mr. Cristiano. Those are damn collateral damage. They don't count. Okay, all right, now I'm with you. You see how wacky we get? Now, let me give you an example. Let's make this really simple, because I don't think our listeners sometimes could understand this. A guy comes up to you and punches you in the nose. For no reason, just punches you in the nose. You go, oh, that hurt. Punch me in the nose for. Guy runs away. You go home, you go, oh, my nose hurts. Now, you go to your next door neighbor who had nothing to do with it, right? And you go to him and you punch him in the nose. You say, what did you punch him in the nose for? The other guy punched you in the nose. Why didn't you go after him? Well, he was more convenient. Doesn't that sound like our war on terror? Let me give you an example. We have terrorists buying Depends, you know, underwear. I think something that I'm going to have to buy soon myself. They put explosives in their underwear. Makes no sense. They get on airplanes to blow them up. Makes no sense. What do the people on that airplane have to do with those people who have made the decision to wage war on the United States? Nothing! Absolutely nothing! What about people like Wolfowitz, Veit, Richard Pearl, William Tristol, Max Boot, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, Dick Cheney, and the list goes on and on and on. These are the guys and gals who made the decision and promoted the war on terror, and now, as a result, we are in the Middle East bombing the heck out of everybody and mostly civilian casualties. But yet when they come here, they don't go against Cheney or Rice or Powell or Pearl or Crystal or how about even John Yoo? Big guy in this war on terror. No, he walks around with impunity. What they do is they blow up an airplane of innocent people. You see the logic there? Just like one guy punches me in the nose, so I go home and I punch my neighbor in the nose. If they really wanted, if they were terrorists, as we say there are, as we define them, our government defines them, why wouldn't they be targeting those people responsible for the war on terror? Why are they putting a bomb on an airplane with Aunt Minnie on it? With Margaret? With Sally? With Mr. Jones? Doesn't make any sense. They never do. These guys walk around like, boop. It's fine. Everything is fine. You know? But if you fly an airplane, boy, we're going to take your clothes off and we're going to shove our hands up all of your cavities. Now, if you think that makes sense, if you think that, you are a perfect candidate for staying on the planet Earth. Because when the rocket ship ever comes to this place, you ain't getting on it. Because you know what they'll do? They'll ship you back. I wish you would think about that for at least one moment. There are dozens, probably hundreds of people responsible for bombing the Middle East, resulting in the killing of innocent people. And yet, the terrorists go after innocent people. I'm sorry, folks. In the planet Zorg, we don't accept that. If Bob punched me in the nose, I'm going to punch Bob back, not Steve. I hope you get the point. You know, we say things like we justify this crisis that we had with the mortgage crisis because the government felt that everyone should own the American dream. Oh, my God, I've been a homeowner for 50 years. Folks, let me tell you something. Owning a house ain't no American dream. American dream. On Saturday morning, I got to get up and mow the friggin' lawn. And when I do that, the lawn mower doesn't start. Then I go to the lawnmower place, got to stand online. Then you got to bring the lawnmower there. It never fits in my trunk. I try to get the lawnmower in my trunk, the handle sticking out. I chip the paint on my trunk lid. I finally get there. The guy says, well, we're kind of busy right now. It looks like you're going to get your lawnmower in 2 weeks. I get home, and I tell my wife, the lawnmower is broken, the grass, and then she is not happy with me. Now, did I paint for you the American dream? Then I get my tax statement, and it goes, whoop, my taxes have gone up again because the city's broke. They don't know where to suck the money out of people, so they pick on the homeowners. They know we are not going anywhere. And while I'm on that subject, let me suggest to you, on the planet Earth, you never own a home. Never. Don't give us, I paid off my mortgage, I own my home. Never happened. You can only, after you finish paying your mortgage, the best you can do is rent it from the government by pay in the form of taxes. you rent for the rest of your life. Yeah, but look at all the equity you built in. Well, what about that new roof you put on last year for $12,000? You know what happened to me about 5 years ago? My foundation cracked. I'm not kidding you. Right in my kitchen. I stood there, saw my foundation crack. Cracked all the tile and everything. I called the foundation people. What's that? Is it an earthquake? The guy says, no. He says it dries after years. It settles. $7,500 to put these piers in the ground to prop up the house. Now, when do you think I'm going to make that up? And by the way, even if I mowed my own lawn to save money and my lawnmower never broke down, who's paying me for those times that I am mowing the lawn? Let me ask you a question. This is for the guys. Oh, girls, shut your eyes and ears for a second. Guys, would you rather be at Starbucks watching the scenery go by in the morning on a Saturday morning, having a cup of coffee, a cappuccino, watching the beautiful scenery go by, or would you like to be mowing your lawn? Now, if you say mowing your lawn, you belong on the planet Earth. That's why you're here.
You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio, the voice of freedom in an America filled with a self-serving federal government operating oversized budgets that threaten our liberties. Joe would like to hear your comments. You can email Joe at comments@libertytalkradio.com. You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio with Joe Cristiano from the studios of Talk Radio 1170 KFAQ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also, you can hear Joe by visiting our website at libertytalkradio.com. With so many voices, opinions, and agendas, Joe encourages America to shed what has become conventional thinking regarding our political structure and join our founders by becoming revolutionaries in thought, dissidents in action. Join Joe in the march toward freedom from tyranny. Visit our website to learn more and join the conversation. Now, here's Joe Cristiano.
Folks, our toll-free number is 855-866-1170. Let me repeat that, 855-866-1170. I need you to call so you can educate me. Right now, I'm very uneducated. I'm pontificating. I need education. Please call 855-866-1170. Also, your comments, please, to comments@libertytalkradio.com. Our website is libertytalkradio.com. I no longer say www, that's old hat, but libertytalkradio.com. I'm going to get on a couple of controversial issues, and I hope, and if you're asleep right now and not listening, this should wake you up, okay? Here, we see these bumper stickers. We don't see them too often now, but right after the invasion of Iraq, we support our troops. Support our troops. Of course, people say support our troops. Now, if you said, you can't say anything. You know what support our troops sounds like? It sounds like, hey, Joe, tell me, yes or no, do y'all enjoy beating your wife? How do you answer that question? Do y'all enjoy beating your wife? I asked you a question, Joe. Can't you? You're tongue-tied. Do y'all enjoy beating your wife? Well, no, I don't. There's no answer. Support your troops. Same thing. The government knows that. The government actually has, do you enjoy beating your wife? In a frame, very expensive, but gallery glass, it's cost them hundreds of your money to put up there so it reminds them to say stupid things that we can't answer, that actually tries to defer our thoughts and guide our thinking to Illogica. If anything, if the spaceship from Illogica comes, you'll never know it, folks. They sound just like us. Zorg, you'll know immediately. You'll probably put them all in jail as lunatics. Support our troops. What is that supposed to be? What? Let's assume for a second. Let's just assume for a second that you live in a country where there is a war that initiates an unjustifiable war. I mean, there's no reason. Just went over there because they have, natural resources. Hey, that's unique. Hey, isn't that clever? Oh, by the way, did I tell you? The Illogica people want to subjugate the Zorgites because they have Zorkians. Zorki, what is it? I forgot what they call it. Anyway, it's a mineral. It's a Zorkian mineral that they want. That's what they do that for. That's why they want it, right? But let's assume for a second that we just went over there, had no problem with the people, no problem with the government. We just went there. We conjured up some fake war. We went over there, killed a lot of people, send out troops, airplanes, bombs, everything, right? Now, then the government encourages people to buy bumper stickers. Oh, they don't do it directly, though. Support our troops. Think about it. When we went someplace that we shouldn't have been, killing people that we should just basically having dinner with, not killing them, includes mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers and children. I mean, and babies and infants, you know, they're categorized by our government as collateral damage. Now, under that scenario, that is only a scenario, folks. I'm not suggesting anything. You realize that. Would you say, yeah, I support our troops? Where's the logic in that? You see, our troops should never, ever, ever have to leave American soil. The Zorkian culture is such that Zorkites never leave their soil. They leave everyone alone. They trade with every single planet in the universe. Not the government, the people do. And everyone prospers. No problem, no war, except for the planet of Illogica. Now, you see, when we see something like that, support our troops, we have to ask, what do you mean by that? Well, don't you know? What are you, a dummy, Joe? I got to support them troops over there. They're over there fighting for our freedom, you know, freedom and, it's for, we're killing those people. We're killing them people for their own damn good. What's the matter? You got a fart stuck in your brain, man. I tell you, you should get a surgery or something like that. But that's the way we sound. I hope you understand what I'm saying. 855-866-1170. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please, somebody out there in Radio Land, tell me I'm wrong. 855-866-1170. Comments at LibertyTalkRadio.com. Our website is LibertyTalkRadio.com. Please visit us. But please educate me. Now, folks, I'm pleading with you. I'm going nuts. I'm on the radio as therapy. This is my therapy. Because when I leave here, I will read some other bumper sticker. And, I was at a meeting. This is no joke. I was at a meeting a week ago. This is not 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about a business something or other. This is just a business meeting. Men get together, they talk about business plans and whatever. It's a solution meeting, you know. And I just go because it's fun. And this one guy mentions, he said, that's right, Bob, but that wouldn't hold water in a post-9/11 world. I went crazy. I got dizzy. I held on to the arms of the chair. I felt I was falling over. What this guy said had nothing to do with anything close to that, but the argument was in a post-9/11 world. You know, my wife finds me in bed with another woman. She says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Honey, it's okay. This is a post-9/11 world." It makes no sense whatsoever. And I actually spoke up, got the guy mad. I said, "Wait a minute, excuse me." And you're not supposed to interrupt anybody. I interrupted him, broke all the rules. I went crazy. I said, "Excuse me, don't go to here. What do you mean by that?" He says, "Well, you know, post-9/11 world, you got to post-9/11 world, everything's changed." I said, "Do I know something?" His name was Russ. I said, "Russ, nothing's changed. You know what? After 9/11, I still had my car payment. I still had my mortgage. My wife says, 'Get out there and mow the lawn.' I throw out the garbage. I drive to work. I got a radio station. I broadcast. I pay taxes. I have a company that I run. Nothing changed. Ha ha. However, from the point of view of the government says, now that we can tell everybody this is a post 9/11 world, we can do anything we want to these people. We can put the whole 300 million people in internment camps, and we would say, it's for your own good. This is a post 9/11 world. And we would go, yeah, man, good thing we have a government, or else we wouldn't be in an internment camp being protected in a post 9/11 world. And of course, I can make love to all the beautiful girls in the world, and my wife would serve us coffee and cigarettes. (855-866-1170). You've got to call in. Folks, I'm losing it. I may not make it through the hour. Comments at libertytalkradio.com. Yeah, I received a phone message, and I'll interrupt the whole broadcast for this fun because it fits perfectly. This phone message, God's honest truth, yesterday. He said, instead of underwear, when I say, you're out there, you lesbian guys go out there dancing in your underwear, he says, instead of underwear, he said, should have been pantyhose. And he says, that'll force them to shave their legs. And that's the only message he left. I thought that was great. This guy probably is from the planet Zorg. I like that. He's not from Malogica. I love that. And that's it. And he left me his telephone number. I know I'm going to call him about his pantyhose. I don't know, but he actually left me his telephone number. I love that. Thank you so much, okay? It was from somewhere in Oklahoma. It was area code 918. I thought that was great. I could touch on subjects that are so controversial, you will probably call the station and say, get that madman off of here. He is un-American. You see, my point, folks, is I'm very American. I'm very planetary. Because the way we should be in America is the way we should be around the world. I abhor this, well, this is America, that's right. No, everyone in the world, they are born free. Everyone. No one is born a subject to somebody else. I don't care. They say, well, what about them Chinese and them Russian people? Makes no difference. The government may say, you're not free. That's like saying it's a post 9/11 world. And they believe it. Everybody's free around the world. Everyone is born free. Here's another one. I love this one. It's your obligation to, you don't vote, do you? I said, no, I don't. I mean, I vote when there's something to vote for, but if I look, there's the one I don't vote. But it's your obligation as a citizen of the United States to vote. You got to vote, it's your obligation. What a dumb statement that is. I hear it every election day. Your obligation to vote. And you know what? The people on planet Earth buy it. On Zorg, we would laugh. They say, oh, come on, give me the punchline. They wouldn't dare say that because there ain't no punchline. Obligation to vote. I looked at the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. You know what it says? When the government becomes abusive, it's your obligation to dissent, not to vote. It doesn't say get out there and vote the guy out. It says dissent. We are revolutionaries. Every person on this planet is a revolutionary. Everyone. I don't care if you come from Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Argentina, Japan, Russia. Makes no difference. We are all the same. Especially in the United States, where we say that we are. At least we say that we are. We haven't, but we got this Constitution, Joe, that's sort of like a living will type thing. What do you know? You have no idea what you're talking about, living will. It's a living Constitution. We can change that every day, according to the time. Yep. Yeah, sure, fine. Then we have no Constitution. I would love someone to call and tell me I'm wrong. Please. 855-866-1170. Let's go for the break.
You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio. the voice of freedom in an America filled with a self-serving federal government operating oversized budgets that threaten our liberties. Joe would like to hear your comments. You can email Joe at comments@libertytalkradio.com. We're back with Liberty Talk Radio. If you want to join in on the conversation, call us or find us on Facebook or Twitter. Or visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
855-866-1170. That's 855-866-1170. Call, please. Square me away. I'm going nuts. You know, folks, after this broadcast, KFAQ may say, Joe, you know, you got to get your mind squared away. We can't have people like you on the air. You're dangerous. You're dangerous people. And I wouldn't blame them at all. You know, here, I save one. It's getting kind of late. It's 11 minutes to the hour. And this one I love. I love this one. It drives me. In fact, my left eye goes, this is when both eyes start going and I fall to the ground. When they say, well, we're going to elect the next president of the United States. The most important position in the world. Or we say the most strategic position in the world. Or the most difficult job in the world. And we have all of these descriptives for how, you know, how godlike the position of president is. I just never understood that. So what I did is I went to the president's job description. Where did I get it? It's called the Constitution. And what do I read? The president shall not. The president shall not. 27 times. The president shall not. The president shall. The president can do nothing. It can't wage war. Can't say, well, let's see, I don't like that country. Hey, they got a lot of zinc. We need zinc. War with that country. Get over there. Guy's bad. We want to really free the people there. Send out tanks, out people, out bomb the people. It's preemptive because they were gonna unload. They were gonna sell us out their zinc. No preemptive fight. None of that. In fact, let me give you a scenario if I was president. All right, here it is. I want you to imagine this. Put your imagination into high gear. Here I am, president. I'm sitting in the Oval Office, whatever that means, and I'm having my breakfast or my coffee. And a guy comes in and he says, one of my assistants or whoever they are, I'm going to fire everybody. They know it. But he comes in and he goes, Mr. President, do you know that Azerbaijan just attacked the country of Bulgaria? That's for example. I don't know, they wouldn't do that, but for example, I will look up to him and go, Pete, excuse me. I was having my coffee. I'm halfway through my donut. Why did you disturb me? That would be my answer. I want to enjoy my donut. Leave me alone. I have no power to do anything. Get out. But you know what we do? No. Now, see, that's the way it runs on the planet Zorg. On Zorg, it's very simple. That we have a president. You know, what we do is we buy him a new suit every year. We all take up a collection. No taxes. We take up a collection. And he walks around, and every once in a while for Christmas, we buy him a new pair of shoes. And you want to say, we don't have elections. We don't care who's in office. You see, this is what our problem is. We have to have election reform. We got to do this. No, we shouldn't care. Let the president be there for life. In fact, let him have a little child and make the person president at the age of 18. We got an 18-year-old president, and he's in there. He lives to 88. He's a 70-year-old president. Who cares? Because he has no power, we just buy him a new suit every year. We're not buying him a Camaro when he's young. He's got to earn that on his own. You see, folks? The president has no power. And how about the president writing, well, under Executive Order 4679, what do you mean exactly? What do you mean exactly? He sits down and writes. How about I go home because he's the servant and he is serving me? I'm going to write an executive order when I get home, and that executive order is say, all supermodels must report to me before they report to work. It's an executive order. My wife says, what are these supermodels doing in the living room? I say, honey, what's wrong with you? It's a post 9/11 world. Get us some coffee and some cigarettes. I'll let you know when we're finished. Now, if you think that's nuts, you think that's crazy, think about the way we think. All right, for all you supermodels out there, let me give you my address. Only kidding, only kidding. No, I don't enjoy beating my wife, you know. I own a company here in Tulsa. Believe it or not, we actually make a little bit of money. I have no employee turnover. Seriously, no employee turnover. Because I don't believe in managing people. I mean that, folks. That's God's honest truth. In fact, I'm a corporate exorcist. I speak as a corporate exorcist. I speak to managers, high-level managers, not middle managers, high-level managers. And I make them realize there's no such thing as management. That's why there's so many books written on it, and they've never really nailed it down. Is no such thing. I was challenged one time after a speech by a high-level executive for I think it was a CEO of a large corporation here in Tulsa or in Oklahoma. He raised his hand at the end of the speech and he said, Mr. Cristiano, I beg to differ with you. I said, please, first, do not beg, and second, tell me how you do. Where do you disagree? And he went on for about a minute or two explaining about corporate organization, about if you don't have this, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. And I listened very attentively. Actually, I didn't listen attentively. My ears shut off. It was all garbage. But then I thanked him. I said, well, thank you very much for your insight. I appreciate that. I said, may I ask you one simple question? It's a personal question. You don't mind? He says, no, it'd be okay. I said, how well do you manage your wife? The room went silent for a couple of minutes. I mean, I tell you, dead silent. Everyone there, and most of them were men, there were a few women, most of them men, reflected on how well they manage their wife. And the point is that you don't manage your wife. If I managed my wife, boy, she would really give it to me. Well, then that's why your employees are giving it to you. You see what I mean, folks? We have to understand what we are talking about. Unfortunately, there is tremendous pressure to be the same. I heard a speech by Don Reynolds one time, and he's a son of the Don Reynolds who built all these buildings, billionaire guy. And he talked about a sliver of glass. He said, you see a sliver of glass and you look at it by itself, it means absolutely nothing. It's like a broken, you throw it away. It means nothing. Just looks like a broken piece of glass. Very, very small sliver, the type of thing that you can get in your finger sometimes. He said, but yet, that sliver of glass, when placed in the right in the right place, when you walk away, becomes a beautiful mosaic. And that struck me. I heard that speech 25 years ago. And that always stayed with me. You see, we are all little slivers of glass, every one of us. And we are afraid that everyone else will look at us as a sliver of glass and not as part of the mosaic. We don't want to be ostracized from friends, family, community, organizations. So we subjugate ourselves to the norms of an illogical society on the planet Earth. And we then conform. And that's when the government has us. They have us exactly where they planned to put us. Now, that may sound very negative. It's not. It is extremely positive. Because once you comprehend that principle, you can start doing something about it. You can release yourself of the fear of being a little different. Just as this program on 1170 KFAQ, which has given me a tremendous opportunity, I appreciate wonderful people, have given me the opportunity to share my concerns with you. I hope you truly enjoyed this broadcast. But more so than enjoying it, I hope it triggered something. Of all those switches that we have in our brains, and I guess there are billions of them, whatever, I hope a few switches got turned on. A few got turned on. So that you can start do yourself a favor. Don't be afraid to feel uncomfortable with the change. Folks, this is Joe Cristiano. You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio on 1170 KFAQ. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember our website, libertytalkradio.com. Here we go.
Talk Radio, the voice of freedom with Joe Cristiano. Tune in Sunday morning at 6 on 1170 KFAQ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also, you can hear Joe by visiting our website at libertytalkradio.com. We encourage Americans to shed what has become conventional thinking regarding our political structure and join our founders by becoming revolutionaries in thought, dissidents in action. Joe would like to hear your comments by emailing him at comments@libertytalkradio.com.